G'day guys, welcome back. Welcome to Pouring Your Heart Out. Thank you so much for being here with me this evening. It's a bit of nighttime pouring tonight. I have got this new mold that I've made. It's kind of following along that ocean ripples type one that I did with quite big waves. These are only little waves. It just gives you the look of water, and it's not a very deep mold. It's only 5 millimeters. What's that? Just under 1/4 inch, I think, if my calculations are correct. Anyway, I am going to try out some of this new resin that Let's Resin has sent me. This is actually their deep pour resin. It's a 2-to-1 mix. That's the A, and it is like water. It is really, really thin, and I've just put a bubble in it by doing that. So anyway, I'm going to use that because sometimes when you have, uneven sort of pieces like this, you can tend to get quite a lot of bubbles. So even though it says it's a deep pour resin, and you can pour it up to 4 inches deep, which is great. So yes, skull molds and things like that. It's also really good for intricate things that you don't want bubbles to get caught. Okay, so I'm going to put it to the test and use my Ripples coaster mold. 4 squares, as you can see. You can use it either way because it's not really bumpy. You can have this as the top, and you can still put a cup on it. We will test that later once it's demolded, because it's the first time I'm using this, so we'll see. Now I want to make just a very, very pale aqua. So I thought I'd try some resin inks, Smurf and swimming pool. I don't think I'm going to need a lot of it though. So I'm going to actually this is the Smurf. I'm just going to put some on a toothpick. Make sure you hold your toothpick over your paper towel, because this is a resin ink. It's not an alcohol ink. Look at that. It's very strong, isn't it? I don't think I'll need the that's the swimming pool. I don't think I'll need that. Like, it looks very blue there, but then when it's only very, very diluted, it's more aqua, which is what I wanted. I'm going to put another little drop on my toothpick, like so. If you want to go slow with your colours, I would advise doing this, just dropping onto a toothpick. And it looks quite dark. Well, it doesn't look dark, but if you put it onto a piece of paper towel, you can see the difference. So that's probably what it's going to look like. So if you want it darker than that, put a little bit more on. Oops, I think I missed it totally. Oh no, I got a little bit more. So yeah, just go slowly, because once it's in there, you can't take it out. But I do want just a very, very light hint of colour, and I think that'll do me. So 3 toothpicks full. All right, put the lid back on that one. Alrighty. Got a couple of bubbles in there from stirring it, but I think it will be fine. I am going to give it just a very light misting with my isopropyl, just all over the mold. We don't even need it. Now, when you're trying not to get bubbles, pour onto a stick and let the resin run down. Okay. And I guess if you're new to resin and, you don't want to be having something that's too difficult or using too much resin and products, because, it can get expensive. I think this is a really good first mold, if I do say so myself, because you saw how easy it was. You mix your resin, there's no bubbles in it. You put a couple of little toothpickfuls of colour in it, you pour it in. It's easy. As I said, they don't hold very much resin, so you're not going to be wasting a lot of product. And with any luck, we'll get a really, really lovely effect when we're done. So I'm just pushing the resin into all the little corners there, if it hasn't already done so itself. I'm not exactly sure how much resin it's going to take, because I was mixing up resin for another project. So, but after I'm done, I can weigh the coasters and that'll tell me how much I've used, which is great. You just have to weigh them. Now, if you see any little dried pieces of ink, sometimes around the bottle there you get little crusty bits that fall off. They just fall off. And because this is a relatively clear piece of work here, I'm going to pick them out because I don't want anything like that in there. And of course there's a hair. All right, so I told you it was easy, hey? Just be careful when you're picking things out that you don't scratch your mold. Just using a little toothpick. I'm not touching the bottom. I'm just scraping out, scooping out, I should say, little things that I can see in there. And because it is so transparent, you can easily see what's going on in there. All right, I'm going to just put a little bit more in, just a teensy-weensy little bit. I want these to dome ever so slightly. And by doming, I mean that the edges are just rounded rather than a dip, because as the resin cures, it does shrink away a little bit from the edges. So if you dome them a little bit, once it shrinks, it'll be nice and level. Whereas if you don't dome them and it shrinks, you could be left with a little bit of a dip and a bit of a sharp edge. So, all right, I think that's it. Now look across the top from down here. Make sure they're all even. Make sure there's no bits of hair or fluff or anything in them. And I'm going to give them a just very light little spray with alcohol on the surface there. I don't want to torch these because they're very thin, and even though you give it a small torch, the heat could go down and melt your silicone mold. So don't do that. Very light spray. Because it's the back, I don't mind spraying. If it was the front, like the other side, I wouldn't. But because it's the back, I will. So that's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I told you it was easy. And we will demold these tomorrow because it's late now. Well, it's not late, but I'm going to go and have my dinner. And I'll see you all tomorrow. They are going to look amazing. Righto, it is time to unmold these, and I'm hoping we're going to get a really, I'm hoping we're going to get a really ripply effect. Look at that. That is exactly what I wanted. Look at that. Wow. I don't know if you can see what I'm seeing. Let me just get them all out. You can see there how it's rippling. And, you know, I didn't put very much colour in these at all. You could, of course, do more colour if you wanted it a little bit darker. But I just wanted to see how it would work. Now, let's move these out of the way for a minute. Move the mould. I will link this Ripples coaster mould for you down in the description. So, I want to test it out. See what it's like using them on this side. Okay, so they're not bendy, they're not bumpy. You can put your cup on this side, and it's not going to move. That's the other side. Look at that. So cool. Does it look like water? No point really showing you all of them. I'll just do it really quick. They're basically the same. And they're only thin, as you can see. I don't think you have to have super thick coasters. Well, not for this particular design anyway. You know, when you go out to the pub for your dinner, you get those little really thin cardboard ones. So you don't have to, it's just something to protect your table. But yeah, these don't take a lot of resin, so they're cheap to make, and you get an amazing effect. Now, let's have a look at this side. Because it's all the same height, you could still put something on top, like a cup on top of that. Let me go and get a cup. I think I've got a cup. Let me go and grab a cup. Found a cup. Okay, so it doesn't wobble, it just sits there flat. Because the surface, even though it's gently undulating, the surface is still the same height all the way along. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't move. It's not like one side's higher than the other. The surface is still level, even though it's got the little bumps below. The surface is still level, so you can pop a cup on that. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. I wonder, should we go outside with them? Let's do that. It's a bit of an overcast day today, so we're not really getting that light effect because there's no sun. Come on, sun, come out. No, it's just cloudy. But anyway, there they are. Love them. Really happy with the way they've turned out. All right, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you all again real soon for the next video. I wish there was some sun. I'll see if I can take another photo inside for you with the LEDs on them. Okay, bye for now.